Also, the fact that there are feed bags, like the fact that that is a mechanic, just... This game has taken all the criticisms from games like Ark, from games like Pokemon. This game is the response to criticisms to all the games this game is, I'm not gonna say parodying, because it's not this is not a parody. Addressing. This game is a love letter to a lot of games that have had a lot of criticism for many, many years, and this is finally being addressed. Oh shit, this is a level 13 dungeon as well. I'm thankful that Nintendo isn't suing them yet. I mean, we saw that Nintendo is sending a cease and desist to people who made a mod that shift some of the models into actual Pokemon models. So that means Nintendo is well aware of this game, and they either do not have a case, or they know that their case is not worth it. That the case against Palworld is not worth it. The game is way too popular in way too many circles for them to just go at it. We need one more leather. So it's safe to assume they have no... game was in production for a few years and Nintendo didn't get any case at the time. It's safe to assume they don't have a case at all. I think they do have a case. They do have a case. There is enough circumstantial evidence to suggest that, yes, this could potentially be trademark infringement, at least to the extent that Nintendo would be able to inflict lawfare upon the developers. But they are choosing not to. This game is the fastest growing and the most popular game. Like, it's well on its way to become the most popular game out there, period. And that's not something that you just fuck with. Like, even if you're Nintendo, they know that if they fuck with something like this, they are fucked. They are fucking themselves over worse than shooting yourself in the foot. Like, this is way worse than shooting yourself in the foot kind of situation. If they do sue for trademark infringement, this company, Nintendo is going to receive such a massive backlash that their stock is going to suffer way worse than if they just leave this game alone. 2 million concurrent players yesterday on Steam alone. There you go. You see? Right back. Go ahead, Chaos. You see? That's what I'm saying. Nintendo may have a case. I think they have a case. I think it would be more than fair. They would be more than entitled to sue the shit out of this game, but they are going to choose not to because this game is so unbelievably popular. It would be suicide for Nintendo to try and do this. Then if you do, then if you don't, in the situation for... No, because if they don't, then this game just continues to grow, and people are going to compare it to Nintendo every once in a while, and that's going to be it. People are going to stop caring after that. Because... Shit. And people are going to stop caring after that, because they know that this game, we know, is in the spirit of Pokemon, but is not Pokemon. It's just a game that addresses the things that we wanted from Pokemon from a very, very long time. And that's it. This game addresses criticisms from Pokemon. It addresses criticisms from Ark Survival Evolved. Every time, dude. Every time. There we go. We got the leather that we wanted. It just does so many of the things that so many games... Because it's not just Pokemon that is being affected by this game. Ark Survival Evolved, I can guarantee you, a bunch of players that used to play Ark moved to this game. If anything, if there's any game that has a stronger case than Pokemon, it's Ark. Like, if there's any other game that would possibly have a stronger case than this, it's Ark. Oh, look at this guy. Because it just works. Like, this game, yeah, it has its problems. It's in early access, early builds, whatever. But this game is addressing a lot of the things that we wanted so many others to address. And it does it so well in such an early state. Like, people wanted Ark to be so... I wanted Ark to be so much better than it is. Like, Ark is a decent enough game that just goes to shit the moment you try to do anything fun. That's my opinion on Ark. It's a fun game that goes to fucking shit. Let's try the wooden box. That goes to absolute shit and hell in a handbasket the moment you try doing anything fun. Remotely fun. You want to tame a T-Rex? Fucker, you're gonna have to, unless you have a server with like 100x modifiers. Yeah, no, you're not gonna do shit. Like, you're gonna stand there and stare at that T-Rex and feed it berries actively for the next 65 hours. I don't want that. I simply do not want that. And I'm not gonna care about a game like that. But yeah, this is a game that just found a sweet spot based on a lot of criticisms and desires that a very loud number of people, fans of all these games, just wanted. And this game just delivered that. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all this game did. That's all they needed to do. That's all they wanted to do, and that's all they did. And that's all they did. That is literally all they did. They just grabbed a bunch of ideas. Now, do they have the controversies with AI and all that shit? Yeah. But at this point, who gives a shit? No one gives a shit. Same with, like, we saw how people don't care about issues with Hogwarts Legacy. We really saw that people really don't give a shit about your social issues when it comes to gaming. People really simply do not give a shit. Like, yeah, I'm gonna, yeah, hooray. Oh, I don't fucking know, what's a cause? Hooray, gay rights! Up until the point it inconveniences me slightly. Or the moment it gets in the way of me having fun with something else. Like, people overestimate, I think, how much others will care about their social causes. Because people will care as far as virtue signaling. In general, the general population will care about as far as the virtue signal goes. And then they're going to stop. And then they're just not going to care. And that's it. That's it. Like, people were worried about AI and the implications of AI. And we have, what? The finals, which uses AI actively. And now you have this developer that used AI as a tool to develop this game. To critical acclaim and just rising straight to the top. Because the developers, they've confessed they have no passion for anything. Specifically, want to see me play the game stirring up the internet controversy? Want to see it again? Yeah. And the thing is, the controversy is only going to feed the attention given to the game. But once it comes to this, like, don't forget, people lie on social media about what they care about all the time. A lot of people will simply follow a social trend, a social norm, because it is what the dominant culture demands of the person. So right now, you're seeing all the pride, gay, trans rights, pro-abortion, what else? A few years ago, Black Lives Matter, all these trends that people were following. A lot of people were following these, and you would see your friends that, you know, you would see, I don't know, I don't fucking know, Kimberly from Arkansas who has never seen a black person in her life putting the Black Lives Matter fist and the black square and all that shit. And the moment it stops becoming socially or politically expedient, it's going to go away and she's going to quietly pretend like she never cared. Or she's going to start saying, oh, or if it becomes, you know, the other side, like once Black Lives Matter came in favor of Hamas and how they just started dwindling away because of their imbecilic support for a terrorist organization, a lot of people started just quietly removing their pro-Black Lives Matter posts, and a lot of others will just start, oh, I was opposed from the very beginning. I was opposed from the very beginning. You just didn't see me, like, I just was posting for it because I was opposed to it. Actually, it was ironic. I was posting it ironically. Like, they're gonna make up 1,001 excuses, or they're gonna pretend like they were always part of the current culture, and you're gonna see that all the time, and we see that all the time, and we're gonna see that in, I don't know, as soon as the psychiatric institutions are, we're seeing this with wokeness right now, with the whole woke thing. It used to be, we're starting to see this, like the forced gender and race swapping of characters that is very quickly becoming a counterculture trend to just say, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You're making a shit story. You're making shit characters. Stop pushing this political agenda and start focusing on making good characters. And it's becoming socially expedient now to do that. When a lot of people, the vast majority of people that you know, probably either didn't care, didn't know, or are going to pretend otherwise. And that's that. And that's that. That's just how it is. And yeah, you saw a lot of people being like, AI, the fears of AI. And now that, oh, direwolf. No, direhell. No, nice. And once we saw how somebody can really use AI to make an awesome game that everyone wanted, then they're either gonna shut up, or they're gonna pretend like they were always in favor of it. Like, one of the reasons Palworld is so popular is because of the sentiment that this game has had for decades. Like, now it is decades of people that have been yearning for something like Palworld to come along. And if it's something that you want at the cost of something that you may have wanted before, yeah, people are gonna just ignore if it's expedient for it. Like, this game is just Ark, Fortnite. It's just an amalgamation of a bunch of games that somebody did not give enough shits and just made it anyway. I remember reading an interview about the devs. Welcome back, Chaos. I remember reading an interview about the devs, and they just said, we don't have a vision. We don't have a mission. We just wanted to make something that we knew people wanted. That was their whole ass reasoning for this game. Because they noticed it's something people wanted. And so they made it. To become... Ooh, mine. To go and become... I'm gonna say, this game is well on track to become the most successful video game in history. Like, it's already the fastest growing game in history, in the history of gaming. No other game has had a rush to the top like this one. And it is because it meets so many people's desires from every stage of their life. Some already... I don't think this game has the material to be Game of the Year, but you don't need to be Game of the Year to become the most influential game of all times. Okay, you're coming with me. So yeah, I don't think this game is going to become Game of the Year it is on track. It does have a lot of ironing out that it needs to do, but given the roadmap that they provided, if they accomplish it, if they manage to accomplish it somehow within this year, which is something that might just happen, considering that they are not afraid. As I was saying, right, the developers have come out saying that they don't really. What I got out of the interview that they did is that they don't necessarily have a moral compass when it comes to gaming. They just have a sense of what the market wants, and this is something that they have seen the market has wanted for literal decades. This game fulfills every game you've wanted, or at least that the average kid has wanted. Every game with Pokemon, every game every teenager, young adult wanted with Arc. Like, these is the combination of games that we wanted to see for a very long time. Alright, I'm capturing 2 of you. I don't think it'll be a game of the year either, mostly because the year's already begun and there are quite a few releases that look good in the horizon. Like, yeah, it might. I think this game, to say it, I don't think it's right. I don't think it is. I don't think calling it game of the year would be accurate for this game, because this game, from what we're seeing, this game transcends that. Like, this is something that has been building up. I think culturally, this has been building up for decades. This is just a game that people have wanted for a very, very long time. So I don't think saying that it is a game of the year is... One, I don't think it's an accurate label to attribute or an accurate thing to do. It is the game that many people have wanted for a very long time. And I was thinking yesterday, right? About, you know, the labels and what is this? Precious pelt. Cool. About, you know, all the labels, all the different things that they are calling it. You know, how this game is totally... Ooh, Serpent. How this game is totally a rip-off of Pokemon. But this game has done something that very few other games have dared to do. And that is, this game is to... Because, you know, you have... Battlefield is to Call of Duty. What other examples can we name of this? Genshin Impact was to Breath of the Wild. Banjo-Kazooie was to Mario. What else can we think of that is that follows that same vein? I'm trying to set up the I'm trying to set up a point over here. What other franchises have we seen that I mean, it used to be Call of Duty is to Medal of Honor, and then Battlefield is to Call of Duty. Medal of Honor used to be a thing, and it used to be really, really good. Medal of Honor Airborne, I think, is one of the best games to come out for the Wii. For those of us old enough to remember the Wii. But my point is, usually these games would counter another single game. You know? Like, hell, even Nintendo, Pokemon, the different versions of Pokemon from themselves that you can tell are basically the same. Oh, this is ready. This is ready. But what I'm building towards here is that usually you would see a market and a counter market aiming for kind of the same thing. Kind of like, I don't know, what other couple of games have this kind of stuff? There are other games that have this, but what I'm going at is that usually you would see Battlefield competing against Call of Duty, maybe Medal of Honor, but you know that ship had sailed by then. All the different MMOs coming out for each other's. Path of Exile is to Diablo 3. Like, usually these games are going to try and counteract something specific. Hell, that used to be PES is to FIFA. all of these different games. And then, you know, you have Uncharted is to whatever the billion other third-person action-adventure games. And Palworld is to Ark, Genshin Impact, Legend of Zelda, Pokemon, and Fortnite at the same time. At the same time. This game went to a lot of these. Uncharted is to Smash... No! The PlayStation made a variant of Smash Brothers. They made a variant... I don't even remember what the game is fucking called. But it is their version of Smash Brothers. It's their version of Smash Brothers. And... what I'm saying is, usually you would see All-Star. Yeah, PlayStation All-Star or some shit. I think it's the accurate or some shit. PlayStation All-Stars. Yes, there you go. Thank you. Point being, these games would try to counter a single other product in the market. They never tried to go for several. And this game unashamedly just went for everything and everyone. This game just went for everything. They wanted the everything game and they went for it. Because they saw that nobody was filling that gap in the market. So yeah, this game addressed so many things that we wanted for such a long time. Like, I grew up with Pokemon. I grew up, just, you know, enjoying that. And then when Ark Survival Evolved came out, it was like, oh shit, it's a game with dinosaurs. It would be so fucking cool if Pokemon was that. And I wasn't even that big a fan of Pokemon. Like, I like Pokemon. I watched the anime. I never got to play the games until way later on, right? So, ooh, nice. And even I got fucking hyped at the idea that this happened. So yeah, this game just fills so many holes in the market. I love Pokemon, I love Ark, I love every monster catching, hunting, befriending Q game. And most importantly, you wanted to see that gap filled. And you saw this game, and this game completely just... it's everything you ever wanted, wasn't it? It's everything you ever wanted. There we go. I saw Pokemon-like creatures with our gameplay. Yes, is what I wanted. It's only missing the evolution part. Which I think this game has, right? I think this game... I'm pretty sure this game does Pokemon all the way... Shit. Here, there we go. Does Pokemon all the way. With even that. Oh, I need to repair the metal pickaxe. Hang on. As far as I know, there are no evolutions. They probably haven't implemented yet. No evolutions? I guess no evolutions yet. Because there's no fucking way they're not going to implement evolutions into this game. Like, right now, we are seeing the first... what? How many pals do we have right now? 111. So that's 111 different creatures, no evolutions, which means there's 111 unique branches that they can take. There are a couple of pals that really feel like they're different stages. Yep. Every 111 pals have no evolutions that we know of. Because right now, let's see, we have... what is this one? Because we do see a couple that do look alike. For example, we have... where's the fucking Eevee? Oh, this one has a variant that is just ice. Lovely. Here you go. We have Kremis, which we would know to be Eevee. And then down the line, we see... not this one. Oh shit, is it an earlier number? Oh shit, Lifmunk is an earlier number. Okay, so yeah, I have no fucking clue. But there are variants, and there's no way this developer that has spent 2 years developing a game that addresses all the gaps in the market is not going to have something like evolutions in their game. I do not see that happening. I simply don't see that as a possibility. Oh, okay, so variants are the... Are variants the name for the evolutions? Or... Or what? I'm a little bit lost here. I'm a little bit lost. Variants piled with different elements. Yes, which we do see also in... we saw in Pokemon later on. Which, yeah, it's fine. I do, because if they put evolutions, if then Nintendo and the makers of Digimon will though have an even better case to sue. And here's what we've been saying, right? At this point, the game is so popular, I think they can do whatever they want. And Pokemon does not own the right, the trademark, to the concept of evolution. Or transformation. Because it could literally be, they could literally call it magical girl transformations. They could really do it a back and forth, same as what Digimon does. Digimon does not own the concept of back and forth transformation. Pokemon does not own the concept of transforming over time, or evolving over time, because otherwise we wouldn't see a lot of other things. We have a few pals that could be evolution. For example, Begarb is Sweepa, but they do not evolve into those creatures, just a king, minion type situations. Okay. Where are we on the map? I need to do this dungeon. This is the small settlement over here. You can see this. That is literally not how the legal system works, James. Don't forget, we're talking about Japan. A different legal system. And here's... We've talked about this, Carsus. Nintendo knows that they most likely have enough of a case that they could sue the shit out of this game. But they have chosen not to. And if the game goes and progresses the way we're thinking it's going to progress, with evolutions and everything, I think they are still not going to, because Nintendo has come to realize that a lot of their core audience loves this game so much that if Nintendo takes away the one game that has brought their core audience what they've been asking for decades, we have a clear example here with Primal. Primal told me, when he told me about this game, when he first told me about this game on stream, it is on episode 3 of BS Talks, which goes live tomorrow. My worry was that Nintendo is going to sue regardless. And what did Primal say? If Nintendo does this, I am never buying another Nintendo product again. And I guarantee you Primal is not an exception. Primal is not an unusual case over here. The Nintendo fans that are loving this game would be the ones that buy Pokemon a lot, and if Nintendo takes this away from them, that's going to be a massive boycott. And especially that we've seen in the past couple of years, that if you piss off the core audience enough, the boycotts are going to happen, and it is going to hurt your bottom line. Palworld is what I wanted from Pokemon, and if they do not follow suit with their games, I might just fully stop supporting Pokemon. So now, like, that's a different thing, right? Because now this is going to raise the bar for Pokemon. They're going to have to put a bit more effort into their games. But most importantly, if they take away Palworld from people as it is, like if they try lawfare, or if they try stuff like that, or if they legitimately try to pursue a case, they're going to piss off so much of their audience. Because don't forget, their audience is not children. Their core audience is no longer children. Their core audience is nostalgia bait millennials. And this game right here, Palworld, is nostalgia bait mixed up with the desire to, the fulfillment of so many desires that people have wanted for so long. And if Nintendo takes that away, you're going to piss off the core audience, because the core audience of this game is nostalgia-bait millennials as well as, you know, the outliers like myself. I don't even want 100% Pokemon to be Palworld, but at least give me 80-90%, remove the guns. That would be enough, but Pokemon misses too much stuff in comparison to Palworld. It hurts to see, because Pokemon has had their product. And the thing is, you're talking about Nintendo. Nintendo has followed the exact same formula for their 3, 4, 5 flagship games for the past 30 years. They have followed that exact same formula with slight variations. Palworld does what Nintendo don't. There you go. So, that's my point, though. Sometimes companies have no choice but to sue. Pisses off the audience or no, it's protecting the IP. But that's the thing, right? They have managed to make it legally distinct to the point that Nintendo can grit their teeth and just swipe this under the rug, because the lawsuit, this does not infringe IP. If they add evolutions, it's not going to infringe IP, because Nintendo Pokemon does not own the concept of evolution. The concept of evolution is not something Nintendo owns. And they could do it in a different mechanical way. Like, they might not do the ping, 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 ping thing where it just pops into a different Pokemon. They could do it as, for example, the way No Man's Sky does your animal companions, that they grow and evolve over time. Yes, you can have animal companions that you can catch in No Man's Sky, and you can hatch a baby, and the baby will grow over time and develop everything. They could do that with this game. This game is already playing around with those timers and everything. So they could do that, and that is in no way an infringement on Nintendo's IP. Like, the way it would infringe on Nintendo's IP is if you see them do the bing, 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 bing evolution where it just pops back and forth, or the new animations that they do. If they go after Palworld, they will definitely lose me as a customer, because that means they don't allow Pokemon to grow in a way we want. And you are definitely not alone, Primal. That's what I'm saying. A large chunk of Pokemon players have Pokemon fatigue, because Pokemon has not put anything truly innovative in a long time. And people are starved for this, and this provides it, and if you take this away, people are going to be very pissed. Currently, yes, it's legally distinct. I'm saying if they add an evolution system, it might give Nintendo enough of a case. The thing is, I think Nintendo already has enough of a case. Like, there are models in this game that you can see are almost one-to-one ripoffs. Nintendo has a case. I genuinely think they are choosing not to. Nintendo went after modders for this game. I do understand, though, that Carsus is saying as well, too much fodder from Palworld might angry Nintendo too much, and that was my concern as well. That's been my concern as well, and I wanted to be wrong about that, and now I'm in the camp of, I think Nintendo knows damn well, and they're just gonna let them do what they want, unless they go ahead and actually add. Like, the best case scenario you could have from this would be Nintendo licensing the IP to Palworld, and have them develop this as an outhouse developer doing whatever the fuck they want, because it is feeding an audience that was starved for this. That would be the absolute pipe dream best case scenario. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be the best approach. Nintendo endorsing this in a way that doesn't really take things away. Nintendo has you can buy hentai games in the Nintendo Switch. There are hentai games in the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo is not cowering away from mature games in their platforms, because they know that their audience now consists in a large bulk of adults. I say Inside's Mega Evolution was like last innovative thing Pokemon introduced. Mega Evolution is just taking, yeah, the digitation from Digimon. It's just taking the concept from Digimon and applying it to Pokemon. Oh, fuck. Okay, they're going after something else. It would be cool if Game Freak takes Palworld into their company and combine both franchises, or if they just give the license over to this developer. Either way, I don't like the idea of Game Freak absorbing the devs of this game. I think it would take a lot of it out of it, but let's see. like growing from both IPs, but that would be, as I said, that is a pipe dream best case scenario. I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, let's do this dungeon. So yeah, Karza, you can refer to my comments in BS Talks episode 3. Because I would say I'm still partially in agreement with you, because I am still talking about a hopeful, and we're talking about a very uncertain future, and we are talking about a Japanese developer, and we know that Japanese developers tend to be very, very unreasonable. So in that aspect, yeah, you could be right. There is absolutely a chance for you to be right in this aspect, and I just hope that we're wrong. Have you seen Hazbin Hotel? I saw the pilot many years ago. Many years ago I saw the pilot. First 4 episodes are already. Friday will be more released. I usually wait for things to be released, and the problem is, I don't watch things right now. Like, the last anime I watched, I haven't finished Frieren. Mainly because... Oi. Mainly because I'm spending a lot of my time doing other stuff. Come on. Like, I would need... I would need more hours in the day. Like, I would need to stop sleeping in order to watch anime. I love anime, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love anime. I love shows and all that stuff. I just don't give myself the time for that right now. Like, all my time right now is spent working, editing the BS Talks, streaming, eating, shitting, or sleeping, or showering, or cooking. 36-hour days. I've done that before. I am not doing that again. I am not doing that again. It landed me in the hospital. Why bother finishing Frieren when you can read them? I don't read! Well, I have a book that I am reading, but I read like 1 chapter every like 4 days because I'm too tired to do other things. It'll be classified as cartoon, I guess, not as anime. Yeah, no, Hazbin Hotel is not an anime. It's just I'm making the point that I don't watch things. Hentai games on Nintendo. Yeah, on the Nintendo store, on the eShop. You can absolutely get hentai games. There are hentai games for sale. Because I mentioned it. I mentioned it didn't come from nowhere. It's because I mentioned it. Because Nintendo has already ventured into a lot of this market, a lot of this very crazy market. You might have missed it because it was something I said in passing, that Nintendo has embraced adult content a lot more. It's not that they're producing it, but they did step out of their comfort zone, because if you go to the Switch eStore, you will find hentai games, you will find mature games. Diablo 3 is on the Switch. Is Baldur's Gate coming out of the Switch? I don't know if it is. As I struggle to run on Xbox, I don't think it will work on the Switch. Oh, they'll figure it out. They'll figure something out. Baldur's Gate 3 coming out on the console. I just cannot remember. It came out on the PlayStation last year. Late last year. PS and Xbox, no Switch. But yeah, to finish off the point. Let's hope to God that Nintendo sees their senses and at least goes for a live and let live. Like, they don't have to bring this game to the Switch. They don't have to even acknowledge its existence. I think they're already in that field of we're just going to let them do what they want. Because the game is way too big for them to try and do anything about it at this point. And if they do, they are going to get so unbelievably... they're going to lose. Like, them killing Palworld could lead to the death of Pokemon. I'm gonna say it. That's my hot take. That's the hot take for the day. Nintendo going after Palworld could lead to the end of Pokemon. I think. Because then it would sour every single Pokemon fan that has existed for the past 20 years that has wanted all of these things. Because, don't forget, Pokemon fans... Oh, nice. Pokemon fans are gamers first and foremost, usually it's very rare that you're gonna find a Pokemon gamer that only plays Pokemon. Those are a minority among the audience. In general, most gamers, most people who play Pokemon are I think we came from here. Most people who play Pokemon are gamers who want the best experience and the best games that they can possibly get. And Nintendo has been the only ones providing that Pokemon experience. Now we have Palworld. And I think if Nintendo tries to go after Palworld, they're going to sour that side of the market to their detriment, to the point that I think it could lead to every Pokemon gamer seeing the next Pokemon and just thinking, yeah, but they took away Palworld though. Yeah, but they took up. How many copies did the latest Pokemons sell? 23.23 million copies worldwide. Let's say that Palworld ends up making 5 million copies. Well, we have 3 million players. Like, we've had a peak of 3 million players. And that info is November 2023. Cool. Alright, let's run a hypothetical. Every person that plays Palworld is most likely aware of what Palworld is and the fine line they are treading. Okay, there's this. I want to see the other door. How many copies has Palworld sold? I think they're around the 5 million mark right now. They have to be... like, last I saw was around the 3 million mark. Palworld passed 7 million sales... Oh, is projected to pass 7 million sales in 5 days. Okay. That is a third. Because you can guarantee... Let's say that every... Like, I can assure you, at least half of the people playing Palworld also play Pokemon. At least half. I am one of the outliers that is not an active Pokemon player. In the 5 days, it's out. Not on the 29th. Okay. But yeah, point being, Palworld is on its way to sell 7 million copies. Oh, so it has already... Okay. So Palworld has sold 7 million copies, and it's probably going to keep growing over the next... And this is 7 million copies in, what, a week? In less than a week. Yeah, 7 million copies in less than a week. That's a third of what Pokemon achieved since November. Yeah. Sorry. I forgot that this game released last week. Yeah, it has sold 7 million copies. 1/3 of what Nintendo sold from November till here. So that is 2.5 months. Palworld is on its way to sell as much as Nintendo did with the original IP. At least, I'm gonna be bold, make up this statistic, because I have no way to prove this. At least 75% of the player base are also Pokemon fans. People that played that last Pokemon, that bought the last Pokemon that came out last year, that came out in November. So that is 5 million people. That's 5 million people. Let's say 4 million out of those 5 million people, out of these 7 million people, I guarantee you every single fucking 99% of us are aware that this is what has happened. And I guarantee you that because of the experience that this game is giving us, filling out that hole in the market that we've been waiting to get filled for so long, if Nintendo pisses off this audience, that I think the game is well on its way to reach 15 million copies within the month. Especially considering the updates they're having and all of that. The fact that they are doing this with, I'm not going to say love, but with enough competence. Oh, this one's not mineable. But with enough competence. They're managing to make this game with enough competence and with enough attention to what the market wants. Let's say with these statistics that we have right now, let's say Pokemon strikes and sends the dreaded cease and desist letter to Palworld today. Out of the 7 million players, let's say around 5 million of those also bought Pokemon. Out of those 5 million, at least 4 million are gonna be pissed at Pokemon for doing this. For taking away the experience that we've been wanting. Primal is our anecdotal case. I am pretty sure Accidental Chaos would also be on that bandwagon of I'm not gonna bother with Nintendo ever again if they do us dirty like this. Am I right? Am I right here in this interpretation that you would simply not bother with another Nintendo game if this happens? Accidental Chaos. If Nintendo were to send a cease and desist letter to Palworld and force the game to withdraw and be uninstalled from our computers, would you boycott Nintendo after that? Would you boycott Nintendo after that? Or would you at least boycott Pokemon after that? Honestly, yeah. I am pretty sure 90% of the player base would do that. I want Pokemon to finally get us over its stuff together and rise again to its true glory. If they try to find others instead of growing, they will lose me. And I'm pretty sure most of the audience would think that. Because if there's one thing gamers hate more than being given a shit game, is being taken away something that they already have. That is one of the things that people hate the most. You do that, and you are going to lose pretty much your entire market share. In that sense. Let's say it really is just the 5 million people out of the 7 million that we have right now that have purchased Pokemon and that have also purchased Palworld. Like, this is our hypothetical here. And let's say these 5 million people, 4 million people refuse to buy the next copy of Pokemon. That is 4 million sales less. That is a decrease, let's take the number here, from 23.23 million to 19.23 million copies for the next year. Let's compare. Pokemon Gen 9 came out in November 2022, got a DLC September 2023, which gave them around 22.5 million units sold. So they had 3 waves to sell that much. PAL only got the EA Early Access release and 5 days already sold 7 million units, which is just insane. But it shows the unbelievable desire that people have, that thirst and starved, just that we want this product. We've wanted this product for a long time. Give it or take, lose 25% sale. 25% of your sales. Can you imagine how many people Nintendo would... Can you imagine if the lawyers for Nintendo come in with Nintendo and they're like, you remember that Palworld game we were talking about? We got rid of it, boss. We got rid of it, boss. And 8 months later, a year later, next Pokemon comes out, and their sales are down 25%. And they can root that back all the way to Palworld? How much let's say Pokemon costs $50 right now. $50 times 4 million. That is what? That is $200 million. That's $200 million gone. Just like that, because of a lawsuit that they wanted to spend about $1 million. 60 plus 30 in the DLC, that's 90. Let's average it out to 70 then. Let's average it out to 70 to account for those who didn't. Okay, so 4 million copies. Let's say 4 million times 70. That is $280 million in this hypothetical. If you piss off enough 4 million of these players by taking away Palworld. $280 million. Because Nintendo wanted to protect their IP. That is a greater loss. Because if you don't meet the sales that you did the previous year, that is considered a loss. So your sales are down 25%. Number one, those are catastrophic numbers. Like, look at Bud Light this past year. Their sales went down about 30%. And Bud Light went from being the #1 beer brand in the United States to not being even in the top 100. With 30% down sales. 25% ain't that far behind. So if Nintendo does this, if Nintendo ends up pursuing the lawsuit and going after, and I'm pretty sure they've had this conversation. They might be they are corporate suits. They are Japanese corporate suits. They will first and foremost worry about the bottom line. And if the bottom line says minus $280 million, minus 25% sales, give or take, in a best case, in the scenario that we just pursue, yeah, you are simply not going to bother. You are simply not going to bother with the lawsuit. You're simply not going to. It's not worth it. It's not worth it for Nintendo. Now, I did say Nintendo could just go completely out of their minds and try to do it anyway, but now we know that something around the ballpark of hundreds of millions of dollars will be their losses. The only reason I might see Pokemon still staying strong is Switch only has Pokemon at the moment, so their own console still has a monopoly on monster-catching games. And then it can become that beautiful, amazing, gorgeous, just absolute magnificence that is competition in the market.